When did being a good friend completely backfire? My friend Autumn asked me to hang out with her during her overnight shift at the pawn shop because there'd been 3 robberies at other shops in the area this month, and an employee was killed at the last one. I got there at 9 as the last customer was leaving, and Autumn was locking the front door, explaining we'd only buzz in people who had items on them. The buzzer went off for the first time at 10:30. When Autumn buzzed the man in, he walked up to the counter with this big smile, saying he needed quick cash for a family emergency and had electronics to sell. But something felt off about how he kept looking around the shop instead of at us while he talked, memorizing where all the cameras were. While Autumn examined his old laptop, the man walked around the shop, stopping at the case with the guns, asking if those were real. Autumn said yes, but they kept them locked, and he nodded, then asked about the jewelry case, the electronics section, like he was cataloging everything valuable. He came back to the counter and after a minute asked how much cash the shop kept on hand for buying items. When Autumn looked up nervously and said it varied, he asked if we knew about Luna, the employee who died last week. The way he knew her name made my skin crawl because it hadn't been released in the news. Autumn's hands started shaking and she said no, we didn't know her. He said that was good because it would be traumatic to lose a friend that way, bleeding out behind the counter while the safe was being emptied. Neither of us had heard that detail, and Autumn asked how he knew that. He smiled and said he paid attention to things. He asked if we were alone in the shop, and when Autumn said the owner checked the cameras remotely, he looked directly at each camera and counted them out loud, then said cameras didn't help Luna. My heart was pounding now as he walked to the back area where the guitars hung, running his hands along them, then to the tool section, picking up a crowbar and feeling its weight. He brought it back to the counter and set it down, saying it was a nice one, good quality, could probably open anything with it. He asked Autumn if she'd ever been robbed before, and when she said no, he said Luna probably said the same thing before that night. He leaned across the counter and asked if Autumn knew what Luna's mistake was. We were both frozen as he said she'd been too slow opening the safe, had fumbled the combination twice because her hands were shaking, and that made everything take longer than necessary. He said delays were dangerous for everyone involved. Autumn's hand moved toward the silent alarm, but he grabbed her wrist, not hard but firm, and said Luna had tried that too, but the police took 12 minutes to arrive. He let go and stepped back, saying he needed to make a withdrawal from the safe, all the cash, and the good jewelry from the case. Autumn said she couldn't do that, and he said she could and would because he'd asked nicely once already. He mentioned that Luna had said she couldn't open the safe either, but eventually she did. It just took some convincing, and unfortunately the convincing went too far. I tried to move toward the door, but he picked up the crowbar and said if I took another step, we'd find out if I was faster than Luna. He said she'd tried to run too, made it about 5 feet. My legs were shaking so bad I could barely stand as he reached into his jacket slowly, saying this could go smooth or it could go like Riverside, but either way he was leaving with what he came for. He said the difference was whether we'd leave in ambulances or walk out on our own, and he really hoped we'd be smarter than Luna. His hand came out holding something black and metal, and he set it on the counter between us. He said Luna had gasped when she saw it, this little intake of breath like she finally understood what was happening. Then she'd wasted 3 more minutes crying instead of opening the safe. He asked if we understood what was happening and if we were going to waste time too. Autumn was crying now and nodded. He smiled and said good, then looked at his watch and said we had exactly 10 minutes to fill 3 bags with cash from the safe, the jewelry, and the electronics from the back. He said Luna had taken 15 minutes and that was too long. That's why things went badly. He started counting down from 600, his voice steady and calm, and told Autumn she better hurry because he really didn't want this to end like last time. She ran to the safe with shaking hands while he kept counting, 597, 596, and pointed the black metal thing at me, saying I should probably help her unless I wanted to find out what happened after Luna ran out of time. Full story on the channel below.